What's growing on, gardeners? Cold weather is coming and quickly, and on today's 2-minute garden tip, I'm going to show you the easiest way imaginable to protect fruit trees from the cold. This method is only going to work for your deciduous trees that go into a dormancy period during winter because they lose the requirement for light. This is not going to work for evergreen trees that maintain foliage all year long and need strong sunshine throughout the year. This year, most of us are going to have a very cold end to November and start to December. Here where I live on the southeastern coast of North Carolina, it looks like we're going to have a brutal 2 weeks with lots of nights in the 20s. Now, 20-degree temperatures are going to be no threat to these mature fig trees that you see right here because they are many years old, well established, and hardened off to the cold. But young fig trees like this are extremely vulnerable. This tree was only planted about 5 or 6 months ago, and it only grew to be about a foot tall. So if this sees really cold temperatures like this, it is surely going to die back to the ground, or it could be outright killed. So it needs to be protected from the cold. But because that fig tree is a deciduous tree that has entered dormancy, it basically no longer has any requirements for light. So that allows me to do something like bury it in mulch in order to protect it. And one of my favorite things to do is to take wheat straw that you see right here and bury the deciduous tree in that wheat straw. That will create a thermal mass that will not only block the wind chill and the frosts, but it'll insulate it, keep the tree artificially warm throughout the winter. Using this technique, all we're going to do is bury this tree in wheat straw. It couldn't be any simpler. We're just going to pick the bale of straw apart and fluff it up lightly around the tree until it's completely covered. And that big, beautiful mound of wheat straw that you see right here will keep that fig tree protected throughout the winter, greatly reducing my chances that the fig tree will suffer any cold damage and die back on me. If you have larger trees that require protection, all you have to do to insulate them in the same way is to get yourself some stakes and to just build a cage around that tree, run some chicken wire around the stakes, and stuff it full of wheat straw. That's exactly what I've done here to insulate the pseudo stems of the bananas. It works like a charm for my bananas to keep them above freezing all winter, so it will have no problem protecting deciduous fruit trees, which are much more cold hardy. An important thing you must know is eventually the trees are going to wake up from dormancy, and when that happens, they will have a requirement for strong sunlight again. So at some point, we will have to remove that wheat straw. Now for me, I'll look around my yard and I will wait to observe my fig trees starting to break dormancy. Usually that happens sometime in early to mid-March. And when that happens, I will remove the wheat straw, exposing the tree to the strong sunlight that it will then need. The goal here is to get us through the really harsh frosts and freezes of winter. By the time March rolls around, things are getting mild, so the tree will no longer be in jeopardy for damage. If you're looking to protect trees that do not go into dormancy, like this citrus tree or this avocado tree, I'll link to a playlist both above and down in the video description where I show you methods on how you can do that. I like to cover them in incandescent Christmas lights, put a water barrel up against them for some radiative warmth, and then I insulate them inside a plant jacket to hold in the warmth. And that's today's 2-minute garden tip. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated.